Happy Friday. 2 pieces of awesome reading content that I recommend that you read that basically cover the topic that I'm talking about today in great detail are Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell and Mastery by Robert Greene. If you haven't read those 2 books, you are missing out greatly on information that will improve your life. So I did 10,000 hours, but I can't remember how well I went into it. It might have been a good day, it might have been a bad day. I have my good days and I have my bad days. Some days I feel like the videos are awesome and the delivery of the content is smooth and insightful and nice and it has that fluidity that we all enjoy. And some days they're just garbage. So, but I'm fine with that. I'm a human, so that means that I'm not perfect. So, what I wanted to talk about today was the whole idea of I'm gonna start tracking all of my hours and everything that I do. My teaching of martial arts, everything, my studies, my research, dissertation, everything that I do, I am going to track the hours. I'm going to have different notebooks or memo pads that I have for everything I do. So when I go freeboarding, I'm going to write down exactly how long I freeboarded. When I weightlift, I'm going to write down exactly how long I weightlift. When I do research and study, dissertation work, any of that stuff, I'm going to write down how many hours I'm putting in. Because this whole idea of 10,000 hours, I believe, is a real thing. So many people have talked about it. So many people of higher mindedness have sworn by it. Now, do I think that this is how many hours every single person has to get in to be a master at their craft or a master in their field? I don't know. I'm not the one to judge. I just deliver these ideas that help me create happiness in my life. And I believe, and I will do a follow-up video about this, maybe 6 months down the road, a year down the road, I don't know, when I feel like it. But that's what I'm gonna do, and I highly recommend that you do that. How much does it cost to go out and get a big notebook, and every time you do something, for that specific cause or that specific goal, just jot down the hours or the minutes or whatever really quickly on everything that you for the time that you put in that day, and you got to do it every time you do it. You can't think, oh well, I'll write down everything, every week I'll pull it out. No, you got to be wed to this idea of growth. It's just like every time I work out, the awesome thing about my workouts now is that I track my lifts. I track, how did I do form-wise? Was the form bad? Was the form good? Did I struggle through all of the repetitions, or did, or was it easy? Or is it now time to bump the weight up? Every time I lift, I'm trying to bump the weight up in every single thing that I do. If it's not weighted, then I can't do it efficiently with weight. But as I increase my ability, I'm very weak right now because I haven't been lifting in years because of my back injury. But as I get stronger, then I will add weight to every single thing. Abdominal movements, leg movements, everything weighted. Resistance, making it hard on my body, putting stress on my body. But I'm able to do that because I'm tracking my lifts. I'm tracking what I do. I write down everything I do. Well, I look at this the same exact way. I look at this as a way to increase my increase the time that I'm applying to everything, especially freeboarding. Freeboarding is something that I was getting pretty good at. And then, as far as, for me, I'm a 38-year-old man almost with a back injury, but I was getting pretty good at freeboarding. And then, my back started bothering me. I had lost a bunch of weight. I actually had lost 100 pounds at one point, and then I lost, and then I put some back on because I was dealing with my back. And then I found the freeboard. I was like 230 when I found the freeboard after I put some weight back on, and then I cut all the way down to 180. While freeboarding and getting better at that. And then I got hurt again. I hurt my groin, and I was dealing with my back and my groin problem. But see, I wasn't tracking my time. And I always, think I'm sitting back talking to my partner and everything, and I'm always thinking, well, how many hours do I really have in, for the time frame that I've been freeboarding over the last 3 years, because I've suffered these injuries and been sidelined several times. And, I'm like, man, if I would have been, I was telling my partner, if I would have been tracking my hours, then I would know how much time I've applied, and I can, and I videotape and different things like that when I practice and take pictures to kind of juggle my memory on, like, yeah, you were doing these certain things this day. You need to improve, or you need to get better at these certain movements, or 360s or 180s, or, you need to work on your, smoothing your movements out. I'm pretty, I look at it like I look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's art. And, it just would have been so much better if I would have been tracking my hours. And it's the same thing now. I like to I love teaching martial arts. I volunteer as a martial arts instructor, and I want to improve as an instructor in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and better myself and increase. Especially for down the road when my son gets old enough to really like roll around and mess around on the mat with me. And so the way I look at it is I need to be tracking those hours as an instructor, because I've been teaching for quite some time now, off and on, and now I do my own thing teaching. But I just, I would love to have something, when my son's, 10 years from now or whatever, that I can, show my son, like, oh, look, I would tracked all these hours. So between like the time I started volunteering when you were this age and now, I have like, 20,000 hours hopefully by then. But, it's a motivation tool. And like I said, I've said on several videos, we need to be, in a mindset of compartmentalizing our goals. Some will blend in with each other, like obviously the weightlifting blends in with, like my riding and different other things I like to do, sprinting when I can and hiking when I can, things that I've always done. But, it's just this whole idea of like motivation, seeing where I'm at, tracking my time, tracking how much more time can I apply to it. Maybe I'm not getting what I want out of this, and it's, and so now I need to say, well, maybe for a few weeks, let's try like adding a half an hour more or an hour more to what I'm already doing, and let's see if that'll, get me at least, another bump up in what it is that I'm doing. I don't mean to ramble, but this is just, I'm trying to explain the reason why I'm doing this. But again, Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell, and Mastery by Robert Greene. Both awesome reads. You can get them both on audiobook through Audible, and you can walk, go for a hike, read or listen to the audiobooks. They don't take very long to get through, maybe 4 or 5 hours for the Mastery, and I believe a little more for the Outliers. But awesome books, folks. Awesome books. They'll make you a much better person. Happy Friday.